Water doesn't need an invitation. It just needs an opportunity.
Moving forward with the Dekker team. Moving forward together with the Dekker team.
We love that for 37 years, we've been able to come alongside you, not only selling, buying, and investing in real estate over 3,117 times, coming alongside you to build your finances, build your fun, build your faith, build your fitness, and even strengthen, heal, and flourish inside relationship and flourish inside your house.
Yes.
Flourish right at home. So it's a conversation today, segment A, segment B, and now we're in segment C of 746 Life's Inside Track episodes is about, maybe it's not so much about beautification, it's more about protection or performance of the home.
Yeah.
And water.
I said earlier, your house is not a boat.
No, it's not.
And herein lies the rub. How many home inspections have we done? Well over 1,000 serving our clients, right? And we don't do the home inspection, but we attend.
Yeah.
And I would say it's probably 90% of home inspections that are in freehold single
19
families.
out of 20. That's 95%.
Okay.
If we're going to get real, and even when we're doing the initial walkthrough, if you're one of our clients, you know this to be true. Before we ever have the inspection, we always say to you, grading.
Yeah.
And what we're talking about is for the first 10 feet from your foundation, in that first 10 feet, the ground ought to slope about a 6-inch slope from the foundation to 10 feet out, down, away from the foundation.
Right.
And I would say it's 1 in 20 where that's actually true. Because it settles. When it was built, it did. Sure, most of the time. Sure, it did. If you didn't get eavesdropping on quick right after it was built, because most new home builds don't include eavesdropping, right? Hard to get that negotiated. So you want to put that on. Or if you have old eavesdropping where the water doesn't actually go in the eavesdropping, but just cascades over the eavesdropping, or you have trees that overhang your house and now they're full of dirt and trees and grass and grime and maple pieces and you name it, then it's not going to do its job. So the eavesdropping in a great condition. And if you have a high pitched roof, I know the next time we do our shingles, we're going to be going to the extra wide eavesdropping because we have a tall pitch. And even when it was put on, which is now 22 years ago, it wasn't that big common to have the wide eavesdropping.
Yeah,
so it went the narrow stuff. And the reality is some houses really do need the wide stuff, the thicker, the 6-inch instead of the 4-inch. So you want to look at your house from an eavesdropping perspective for water, so it doesn't just hit the ground down below, but you also want to look at the slope of the land. Garden beds right against your foundation that you're going to water?
Not a good idea.
Danger. We have some that were here when we got here and we don't water them.
No.
And so not that, and it's built up, like it's much higher than the walkway. So the plants get the rainwater and that's it.
Yeah. And let's go back to slope for a minute.
Okay.
You got on a tangent about the eavesdropping, and we'll come back to that a little bit. But the slope, even a slight slope towards your foundation instead of away, can drop thousands of liters of water at the edge of your concrete foundation. Now, newer ones sometimes have a
rubber membrane.
Yeah, a plastic or rubber membrane that goes down to the footing, but you're still putting hydraulic pressure at the footing level or under the footings if your weeping tile's not draining it properly. In the city, most of the time they drain to the storm sewer, but there are some parts in the city, and most places in the country have some pump to take that water away. But just that difference one inch towards as opposed to 6 over 10 feet. That's not a big drop. That's just a slight drop.
Little.
And you want to have not gravel, which the water just goes through. You want to have grass there so that the water will run. Some soaks in, but most of it runs towards the swale. Normally there's a swale between houses. And this is very important. Like we said, this is a spring checkup. Go outside and see which way. Take a little level with you if you want. See which way your soil slopes. If it's sloping towards the foundation, then it's time to get some soil, a yard or two of soil. Raise it up, put grass on it, put sod on it, whatever you want.
You can do grass seed. It takes well. You just overseed, right? It works fine.
And it's important to know that you still want 6 to 8 inches minimum of distance, concrete, to your wood. So if you got siding or wood siding or brick or anything else, you want that distance so that water and moisture and snow won't get there. So you need a good 6 inches of concrete showing. And if you need to relevel and suddenly you don't have any or none, then that means you got to take some soil further away from the house. Rather than piling it more up there, you got to take some away, which can be a little more of a pain.
Right. And we're just going to go back to the building inspections for a minute. It shows up in probably 19 out of 20 building inspections. It shows up out of our mouth when we're doing the walkthrough, probably 19 out of 20 times. You need to address the grading. And the number of times we go back years later or a few years later, and the one thing that just never got off that original checklist in the building inspection report is the grading, because it's thankless.
Yeah.
It seems thankless until your house takes on water. Yeah. So recently we had a homeowner have a significant leak in their basement. And so certain there was a major crack there. When it was dug down, the evidence was there was no crack. There was no ease of penetration. It didn't have a water membrane. It did just have the black tar paper. And it did have weeping tile, and the weeping tile was not plugged. And there was a slight slope on the patio. So we were talking patio stones sloping to the house and some dirt sloping to the house on the other level. And that's all it took.
Yeah, all that water was accumulating right at that corner.
And you didn't see it.
Property.
It just went into the ground and then into the basement. And it was fixed. And now it's been through a spring thaw, through most of a winter, through a whole winter, through a spring thaw. And there's no water in the basement. And the only change was taking off the high dirt and releveling.
Mm-hmm. Now let's talk about, I'm going to go back to eavesdropping for a second. We've got a moment left here in the show. And that is, many times we see the downspout come down to the ground and the extension, which is supposed to take it 6-7 feet away from the house, is gone. So now you're taking all that water, pooling it in one spot, and we see footings cracked. We see problems all over the place.
Even corners of garages.
All that water accumulating right at that corner. So the cost of fixing water damage is never where it starts. No. It's where it ends.
Mm-hmm. And if you need a clarity call because you're saying, I need some contacts, I need some information, I need more from all you've shared for the spring cleanup, you can reach us. Just go to the dekkerteam.com website and book a clarity call. We are here to help you protect your investment, and when it's time to sell your investment too.
Yeah, we're glad you joined us on Life's Inside Track, because when we move forward together, we've got this.
Moving forward with the Dekker team. Moving forward.